everything is about love, anyways. I mean, if you have a Andrew Tate, if you have a Bill Gates, if you have a Elon Musk, if you have the people who are just living not so extravagant life, in the end, it's about love. It's about you and me expressing the lives that we want to be in the highs or in the lows. Like in the end, it doesn't matter how it looks like. It doesn't matter how people flow, how people are. In the end, this life is such a beautiful existence where you and I can just experience love out of that freedom for life itself. But if we stop ourselves from living, that means love can't move. So let's say you are love, right? Let's say my expression out of that love for life, I can fully express. If I don't allow life to express itself, then I stop. Once I stop, I can't fully express life again. So, what does it mean to be depressed? My depression, my depression, was because I was lost. My deep, deep depression was because something broke inside of me. And that breaking was, done by myself, by others. Let's take accountability for that, right? Let's say I got hurt. Let's say I allow other people to hurt me because I was vulnerable. I said to her, here is my love, here is my heart. Be gentle, be kind. So, just to make sure that we are not that victim of that story, is I was one point did the same with someone else as a child. Is that we don't know how to love as a child. We're just doing things, stuff. And out of that, we break each other. We break each other's heart. I think I had one person who was so in love with me that I didn't fully know. I was in love with her too, but it was such a childish love, I think, that I didn't even know how to love someone. And maybe I broke her heart by just breaking up with her because I didn't know how. I didn't know what it means. And that to itself then becomes more when you're an adult. You just express, you just experience life, right? And sometimes life can hurt so much because, you fell down so hard that you're like, wow, ow, I won't do that ever again. I know this all too well. This is how I got depressed at one point. But I fell down so hard that at one point I was like, yeah, that's enough. That's enough of life. And then you just sink into bed and you're like, I don't want this to, but you can't go, you can't do anything, so you're lost. And you're like, so how do I do this? How do I do this thing that is called life? So then you have to give everything again, right? You have to go like, you know what? I'll just do everything in my power to live a life that I truly want. And that's when everything changed inside of me. That's when everything transformed. Because I was the one saving myself from the suffering that, let's say, me being ignorant, me being uneducated, did not really help me create a life that I truly want. Me educating myself, becoming versions of me that can regulate what I need to regulate in order for me to create that life. That's what helped me in the end. I wouldn't say it's easy. It's hard work in the beginning, very hard work. You just have to go for it. You have to fall, you have to fall, and you have to fall. You have to keep standing back up. I don't know, sometimes life can be very, very painful because pain to itself. It's just a part of life. I feel like everything in life comes with pain and comes with love, suffering, happiness, darkness, light. And my life was also that way. I have my happy times, I have my bad times. I have deep suffering and I had deep happiness. And that full acceptance to what life is. It can hurt people. It can hurt a lot. A life can hurt a lot. But when you are growing, when you are stronger, you can handle that lot even better. You can heal in that, and then it's lighter again. But going back to the story doesn't remove that feeling. You can accept it, otherwise, you won't move forward. If you don't accept your life or the past, then you can't move forward. It's like rejecting parts of your book, saying, you know what, I don't want that in my book. Let me change that in my book. That's not possible. You can't change what already happened. You can change what is now. And what is now is creating a book that you truly want to live. Whether people see the book or not, it doesn't matter. You are living that book. And if you're the one that lives that book, then everything around you can change. Your book will change. The movie will change. And how do you play? What do you play? I want to be a version of me that can explore through life with joy and curiosity. And out of that joy and curiosity, I will create a life that fits me and my family. By expressing or by experiencing life to the fullest, life can truly be. And once life can truly be, I can enjoy being me fully. Something like that. And yeah, this feeling inside of me. And it's called, there was a quote, there's a thing, oh yeah. The world is our oyster. And I feel like I want to really become that, just to explore and enjoy life to the highest. And yes, there's war, and yes, there's fights. But if I stop myself from living the life I want, then that's not the life that I want to create, that I don't want to experience. Otherwise, we can be stopped by everyone, by everything, if we allow negativity to stop us from actually living the life that we truly want. And that's where I feel like my mind has shifted. I can make the world my problem, the negativity my problem, my lesson. But in the end, the only thing, the only one that's going to suffer because of it is me. And I don't want to suffer because someone else is suffering. I want to be happy, but I want to understand their suffering so that, you can still have compassion and empathy towards the people that is suffering. You can help by creating a better world, by being yourself in that happiness. But if we all suffer, then the world will suffer. Just one negative ball of energy with negativity. And if we create positivity, that means there's a bridge to positivity. There's a bridge to a better life. And my choice to to be that way, to live a life out of positivity, is a very long journey because I was positive in every sense that I could, and then someone told me, you know what, you can't be positive the whole time because there's negativity in the world. I was like, whoa, why are you breaking my balls? Why are you breaking my positive energy mindset? I didn't understand why she did it first, but then I understood. She was still in her negative mindset, in her negative world with herself. Like, I understand, but it doesn't have to be me. I came from the darkest place of my own self, and I created a positive life out of that. And I almost allowed someone else's mindset or feelings to become mine. And that's when you can suffer. When you allow other people's world to become yours, their negativity, their drama, their problems. Yes, they have problems. Yes, they have negativity in their life. You can support them by showing that there is a way out, but you don't have to become it. So that's my great lesson to myself, and maybe I can share that with other people so that they don't have to suffer because someone else is suffering. Because in the end, if you look back into your book and you would read that, right? You would read that you were suffering because someone else is suffering and that you stop yourself from living. Oof, that's a bad book. That's like, oh my God, I need to go back and relive that book in a different way because it goes like, okay, so then I suffered and I stopped living my life. The end. Crazy, right? Crazy. So if I can read my whole book and I'm like, oh yeah, I did everything. I got everything out of me to live their life freely. And in the end, people will fight over there. People will laugh over there. People will be happy over there. People cry. People make up. And that's all what life is. Life is just all of these beautiful happenings and sad happenings and major things happening. And that's what we have in life as well, right? It it's like a beautiful roller coaster. It goes everywhere. It is just that we have to strap in and we're like, oh shit. And at that moment, it's like high, intense, low, bad, sad, happy at the same time. And that's also a part of that journey. Life, a life, how crazy life is, right? Life can be very exciting and also very painful. And you're like, damn it, I love life. Then at one point, you're like, eh, nah, I'm gonna stay in bed. Yes, I think it's learning to love life. Just embracing everything. I mean, suffering comes and goes, love comes and goes. And some people change, some people don't change. And some people shows you the most beautiful light you can be, the most beautiful love that you can be. And some people will show you the darkest parts of humanity, which you don't want to be anymore. And then you can let go. You can say, okay, no, no more. I'll become better. And that to me is the beauty of life. I think without the darkness, without suffering, there would be no need for life itself. Because then you could just be spirit. You could just be constant energy. And there would be nothing to live, nothing to play, nothing to experience if everything's just good the whole time. I wouldn't say that good the whole time is a bad thing because let's say we had a very dark times at one point and then we go into a light time, like peaceful times for 1,000 years, let's say in that way, then that would for me counter that dark times. And then I would say, yes, then I would enjoy my life, my light, my happiness more. Because if I don't know that I can choose from happiness and sadness, then I don't know what I have to choose in, right? If I'm just one state of just blissful, that would be amazing. But if you only know bliss, then you don't know what you're missing. So this is my head contemplating. So if I only am positive in my life, that means I choose to not be negative anymore and not to be sad the whole time, not to be lost the whole time. And that is what was necessary for me to create a positive life. Without that, I didn't know that I wanted to live, that I wanted to have a family so bad, that I wanted to become a father, that I wanted to take care of them, that I would love to experience more of life, to travel, to see the world, to just live a life that I want, not a life that's supposed to be with this idea that I have to do this and this and that. Like I have to play this script of whatever that is. And that I can just be free, like authentic to who I am, to what I want to experience, because that's what life is, right? It's just to experience that life without the idea of someone else or that you think that you have to be. And that for me is freedom. That's why this playing field, this earth, this experience is such a majestic thing if you were to play in that magical play with yourself. Otherwise, it's so mediocre, so static, so gray, so colorless. So this. But if you want to, as well, if you enjoy that as well, sorry for my judgment over there. Yeah, maybe people love that. Maybe they love that so dearly that that's what they choose. I'm very sorry, people, for judging you for the things that you actually love. So this is how I have conversations with myself. So, this is how I learn to speak, to express, and to discover how my mind is, how I feel. And in that way, I can also change myself in the way that I speak and the way that I think. Because if I, for example, now catch myself in judging someone else that might love that thing as I love the way I live my life, then if that person were to judge me, that means I won't like it. They might find it weird how I live here. So yeah, that's how you can be very reflective and learning at the same time while teaching at the same time. It's like being a student and a teacher at the same time. Just being open to changes. Like if you can catch your ego, you can catch your own ignorance, and that's a beautiful way of just shifting into a better, loving person for yourself, for others. And that's how I work now. Before that, it was difficult to actually listen to what you yourself have to say and then following up to the advice that you are saying to someone else or to yourself. And by following up to that advice, you can empower yourself. You believe more in yourself. And in that way, you create a version of you that you're happy with to be. Because even if you're lonely, even if you're sad, you still love you for who you are. You can hold space for you when you are sad. You can hold space for yourself when you are angry. You can express yourself in that angriness within yourself so that it can come out instead of bottling all up and then imploding and exploding at the same time to people around you. And I've been there with people I know, and we have to learn from that. Otherwise, we'll explode constantly onto someone else. And that's the lesson I learned from bottling up my emotions. Because in the end, if we can't express who we are, if we don't know how to express who we are, then a lot of explosions happen. I understood this with people in my life that because they are uneducated of who how they express or how they could express in words in however you want, it means there is always frustration because children they get frustrated because they don't know how to express what they feel. And this is how people, when they have pain, they express that pain either outwardly, trauma, or pain, yelling, not knowing how to express that feeling that they feel, the pain that they feel, because they don't know how to regulate it yet within themselves. So if you learn how to regulate that, it means you're always clear in who you are, where you are, how you feel, etc. That helps each other to learn more about each other instead of throwing things, destroying things, and then you will have to pick up the pieces because you broke something inside someone else or in yourself or that was already broken. You just want to find a way to glue everything up again, to become whole again within yourself. And once you're whole again within yourself, that means you're in peace with yourself again. You can come home to yourself again, to your own body again. Because then you don't have to find the missing pieces or create missing pieces. And that to itself, what I feel like is where fullness happens. So no longer empty that needs fulfillment from outside, but fullness from within because you are full, you are whole. And people reach this with religions, I think, and other people reach this with self improvement, self exploration, and becoming the answer to itself, right? And we have people who are still lost because it's a lot of externalization of what they need. So if you look at the need, it's needing from outside to fill the cup inside. And once that is gone, that means it depletes itself at one point and then it's empty again. But if internally I create that which fulfills me, that means I have pathways to that fulfillment within myself. So, what happens in a relationship is when you lose your path, when you stop creating that which fulfilled yourself, which you gave to yourself in self love, that means if you give away that path and they become that fulfillment for you and it's gone again, you will have to repeat the same thing over again because now you feel empty again. But if you keep doing the things that you love while still being in a relationship with others, then it's full again. It's overflow. You can share the overflow together instead of fulfilling each other. Fulfilling for me is the old way of relationship because we come in empty to fulfill what we already are. So this is the illusion. The illusion is that we are empty from within. The trigger is when you meet someone that sees you, you feel full again, you feel open again, you feel you again. So that is you actually being open, actually being full. But we have this idea that we are not. And that idea is where realization comes in. Hi, Prana. And that idea is the condition that says, I am not full. The condition that says, I am not love. The condition that says, I am not good enough. So the condition to itself will stop you, will limit you from feeling full, from feeling in connection, in alignment with who you are, with the divine. And the more I remembered who I am, the fuller I got. The more I let go of these conditions of who I am, the more I could feel, the more I could experience, the fuller I was. It is conditions that limits your being. If I say this is impossible, I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, I'm not good at that, I create this bubble, this version of me that is limited in the things that it can be. And that to itself is the condition, the distrust in the self. And once you have the mind that codes itself in that way, that means it believes that way. Once you say, I can do this, I can do that, you open up to the possibility to become more of that. So if I say, I can dance, I can sing, I can do this, I can do that, you still have to go through some uncomfortable feelings of expressing all of that in order for you to open up and to regulate that emotion better, regulate in a way to train your vocals, to train your body to express exactly how you want to express. A child does the same thing. It still needs to learn how to express that which it wants to express. Walking, crawling, talking, etc. if I to myself still need to learn how to regulate, how to speak, how to sing, how to fight, how to do all these things, it means I have to grow into it. And once I grow into it, then I become it. Once I'm it, it means it's natural. Like walking. At one point, walking is natural. Before that, it was uncomfortable. It was falling. It was standing back up. Where's my balance? And all of that. Same with being a parent. At one point, you have to get back into balance with who you are and how you are as a parent. And everything needs balance. Everything comes in expansion. And out of that expansion, there's unknowingness. In that unknowingness, you have to find out, what can I do to become this? Once you are stable in this, that means you have expanded. You have become a version of you that can create this version, this dream. Now, if you want to have a bigger dream, expand. This unknown territory comes with exploration and becoming a version of you that can now be stable again. And now you're this. And that's the beauty in all things. We can expand if we want to. We can stay over here if you want to as well. If you are happy with this version of you, then that's also in peace. You don't have to be here to be in peace. You can be here to be in peace. You can be here to be in peace. You can be here to be happy. It is your choice to accept you as you are, here, right now, here, or here. You can always expand to feel even more happier. Not even more happier. To enrich in your life in a different way. That's a better way of saying things. And that's also what I'm trying to do with my life now, is to expand. I want to explore. I want to travel. I want to see other cultures and, experience their culture and see how they live and see how they eat. And that to me is richness, experiencing life in richness. And it's also going through this ego mind that says you can't. There's no money. There's no this. There's no that. Don't do this. Otherwise you will lose this. Blah, 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 blah. And that is fear. That is fear taking control over your life. And that fear will not allow you to experience something new. So that's the something new, right? That's the unknown, the expansion. You're like, oh no, it's too dark over there. I have no idea what here is. And I don't know how to do all of this. But in order for you to get there, you have to step through that door to get to that place. And then you're in the wild, wild west and you're like, oh, whoa, how do I do all of this? Well, you're stable here, right? You can use whatever you learned over here and, play over there and see, okay, what can I do over there? And just explore, just feel the safety in in the unknownness, in learning and experiencing. And then everything can become stable again. And that to itself is something the mindset can change. Like you can either think of unsafety, I have to survive. I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that. To go to, oh, I know how to do that. I just have to learn how to do that. Oh yeah, that person knows how to do that. I should educate myself to become more of that. I could see in more possibilities. Oh yeah, I have enough. Maybe I can create more of this, more of that. And this is also creating a different mindset. Hmm. Mm. Okay, so if you have this limited version of you, right? And that limited version of you can only create this. So out of that limitation, you have to expand. And that expansion, there's fear around that expansion. So it's a fear of you stopping yourself from actually experiencing that which is outside of that. In order for you to go there, you have to go through the fear of not knowing how. But you have to believe that it will create itself and that you will find a way to create this version of you, to be this version of you that can experience this reality, that can experience this life. But you have to go through fear. For example, if I go to a job offer and I stop myself from going to that place to have that talk, then I already stopped myself. That's the door. If I put myself outside of that door, now I have the chance to actually do something with it. And there's many ways to create money. It's just that our mind is saying no to this, no to that, no to that. So you block yourself from experiencing life by having this mental construct that creates more fear onto everything so that you don't have to go through it. This is the ego or the mind, the fear interfering you of expressing the life that you want to express. And that can be in every different shape and form. So it could be in love, it could be with a job, it could be with the dreams that you really want to create. If I allow fear to stop me from talking with you right now, that means we could not have this communication, we could not have this expression together. We have to, I have to move through the uncomfortable feeling that I don't know, and that the universe, God, everything that is, would help me manifest, create that dream. But I have to become a version of me that can trust it, that I can trust myself in doing all of that. See, trust, love will overcome that fear. I trust myself that when I step out and do the things that I need to do in order for me to create that dream, then I step through the fear, and then I can become a version of me that can create that money, that can create this, that can create that. But fear to itself is a challenge. It's like a boss in your level. It's saying, do you truly dare to create that dream? Or are you going to put yourself in a situation where you don't dare to create that dream for yourself? And that's where people get stuck in. And that's also good somewhere, because you might not be ready to step over that fear yet. So you might need some extra inner work in order for you to step over that fear, to really trust in you, to really believe in you that you can. Fear is just a distrust, it's a disbelief in your powerful self. And I would say you can. I trust in you, and I know you can. And let that be the mantra for you. If that mantra then takes over instead of the fear, then you will take a beautiful step, a small step, and another step, and another step, and another step. Keep making small steps. Eventually, the anxiety will leave, the fear will leave. Because stepping in the unknown is not always, can be very beautiful, but also very challenging. If I look at my daughter, she steps into a new world. Everything is big, everything is exciting. The things that she can do. But in order for her to get to a new level, she needs to learn how to communicate. She needs to learn how to walk. And then there's a new shift, new world that she can experience. So the example of life, daring, and just keep practicing, keep expressing that which is what you love to do. Yes. So let's say I am, and I want to, in order for me to attract that, I have to become all of this. I have to become a version of me that can attract that. And if I fear, I block. I block everything that can be attracted. And if I fear being me fully, then I can't attract fully. If I'm in this small frequency state of being, that's what I can attract. So by believing that you are powerful, by believing that you are loved, by believing that you can do everything in your power then that breaks the fear. It's the illusion. Fear is just a thought into a story, into things that becomes bigger, and then it's a cage. And that cage will either stop you from moving forward, or you have to go through it and say, no, I am not that fear. I am not that story. And once you are invested and connected to that story, then yes, you will become it again. Hello, my love. Are you awake? Okay, so my baby is awake, so I can be more expressive now. And you want to go to a different vibration? You want to go and do some other music? Yes? Okay, so I'm gonna put on some other music. If you have questions, just ask, and I will try my best to answer it as best as I can with my experience. Okay, well, here I am again. You're welcome, Jasmine. You're very much welcome. And to give you an example of my life, like I had no idea how to create money, like zero idea. I was very uneducated in that. So the only way for me to get out of that was to experience new things, was to find ways to become a version of me that was very clear in what it needs. Like I had to step over my boundaries constantly, the boundaries of fear, in order for me to create the life that I want to create. Oh, Lord. And it was experiencing after experience, and just going out there, like do things that challenge you to become even better. Like if you don't know how to speak or communicate, challenge yourself to communicate very clearly about who you are, where you want to be, and by repeating it 1,000 times maybe to yourself, okay, this is who I am. I'm Jasmine. I'm this, and this, and this. This is what I want to experience. This is what I want to create. Now, out of that, you have a dream. And that dream is the dream version of you, the dream that you are. Now, that version of you, you have to walk towards and become that version of you. And you have to go through very uncomfortable feelings and go at places where you feel very uncomfortable in. But whilst you are doing that, you can also train yourself how to communicate, how to stand, how to believe in yourself more. And empowerment comes in when you take the advice of yourself and say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to talk to myself for an hour or two or maybe longer. And I'm just going to keep talking until I'm super clear in what I need and what I long for and what I want to create. So where's my fear about? Is my fear of showing myself? Is my fear of not knowing how to create money? Or is it the fear that I don't know how to speak to someone in a way where I feel like I'm not clear enough in what I want to attract? So either it's a job or whatever it is. Anxiety comes from the uneducated self, from someone who doesn't know how to express itself fully and to stand in the center of attention or just somewhere and not feel anxiety, just being you. And that to itself, for me, is where self empowerment is a very good key to just being and creating in life the way that you want. Because now you take authority back over your universe and your reality and how you want to create it. But if the fear kicks in, then the fear is also part of your reality. And if that reality then starts shrinking again and start becoming more of a fearful story again, then you're already in a very low frequency manifestation of your dream. And that to itself you can change by creating mantras or believing in yourself in such a way that it overrules the fear that you have within yourself. So I love myself. I trust in myself. I am good enough. I am worthy of everything, because now you open up to everything. Just I am worthy of everything means you're already opening up to everything. If I fear, you're caging yourself in that fear. And love to itself is the unlimited source of being. So that's the infinity. Like when you say, I love you to infinity, that's love to itself, the unconditional one for yourself. If you are that unconditional one to yourself, then that love will reign. And then fear can never stop it. So that's my message for today. So, beautiful people, have a beautiful life and a beautiful journey. If you have questions, you can always ask on my channel. Like, don't be fearful, don't be scared to ask anything. I think you can just put questions in a community page. I have no idea if it's possible, by the way, but you can, and I can answer from that. And maybe I can even make a video, a content about it. Because, yeah, I'm just also beginning and doing the things that I love to do and stepping out of this idea of myself that I have to be less of myself, and I can slowly show myself more and more and more in ease and at peace in my own time frame, like you do with your own time. You don't have to force anything. You just have to take your time to be the best version of you in your own time frame and in your timeline. Don't let other people to push you into places where you don't want to be. Take control over your own life, your own reality, over the people. Not to say control over the people, but saying no, saying yes. This is an environment I want to be. This is the work that is going to serve me to get me to the place where I want to be. And so on and so on and so on and so on. And this is how you take back control over your own life, bit by bit. And yeah, that's it. Have a very beautiful day and enjoy this beautiful planet. Want to say something, honey? Bye bye.